What's up, y'all? Welcome to our YouTube channel, Africans Talk Football. Appreciate your guys' continued support. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.
Welcome back to another episode of Africans Talk Football, where we bring you fresh soccer news, highlighting the Africans and African Americans who have seen success within the sport. We'll also bring you news from our favorite teams in the Premier League, MLS, and WSL, as well as inform you on top European leagues and soccer news worldwide. Whether this is your first episode with us or you've been rocking with us from the jump, again, I just want to say thank you to all of our friends and supporters. Again, my name is Cornelius, and I'm joined by my boys and fellow co-hosts. Solo, it's been a minute, my boy. How you been? How you feeling?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me back as always. Good to see y'all. It's been a crazy season, I think, for all of us, but it's been fun following y'all and following the podcast, especially on some of my drives. So y'all been doing great work. I love it.
All right, thank you.
Sure. Mike, how about you? How you feeling?
I'm feeling great. Can't complain, except for the rain. It's rained all weekend. But other than that, I got the chance to, watch a lot of games, so can't complain. How about you, Gabriel?
Been better, but it's all right, man. Exciting week. So for the crunch, playoffs this week. So very, very exciting stuff. But we'll get into teams later. Salam, how you feeling?
Good, man. Big week coming up. Looking forward to supporting you, Gabriel, this upcoming weekend.
Appreciate you.
Cornelius, how about you?
Good, man. Just like Mike said, it was a very rainy weekend here in Ohio, but it was good. It was honestly good for me because I was able to stay in, get a lot of work done, watch a whole bunch of games. So I feel like this is a nice little start to this upcoming week. Like Gabriel said, the Cleveland Crunch are in the MLIS indoor soccer playoffs here, which will be held here in Cleveland this upcoming weekend, April 11th, April 13th. So super excited just to watch the Crunch. Hopefully get another ring, man, back to back. They're looking to go back to back. So shout out them, man. This is going to be a big week for the Crunch for sure. But
I just want to be saying that, like, every time I'm on I see y'all post, it'd be like 21-0. I'm like, damn, bro.
There goes monetization. So,
Bro.
they be crunching them. They be crunching for sure.
They're great.
But nah, not every game. Some games, we found it a little bit easier than others, but nah, if you saw, we had a couple. We went to overtime 3 times with a team, in a row. So it's definitely going to be a difficult playoffs. It's not going to be easy. So just as we say, one quarter at a time, and may the best man win.
Yeah, no, that's a perfect place to start it. I actually want to start a little bit off topic in England because we were talking about this a little bit before we started recording, but I wanted to shout out Wrexham. Wrexham FC, a few years ago, they were non-league playing in the 5th division tier of England, and then they were bought by 2 entertainers here in the US, Rob McElhenney and Ryan Reynolds, 2 actors here from It's Always Sunny, and then Ryan Reynolds obviously being super huge actor, being a rom-com guy and also in the Marvel universe now as well. But they bought Wrexham for $2.5 million when they were non-league, and it's incredible what they've done. This team has been promoted twice in the last 3 years. They're currently in the 3rd division, fighting in League One in English tier soccer, about to be currently in 2nd place. And I don't know if our listeners know too much about how the English tier system works, but the top teams, usually the top 3 teams in each lower division, get promoted into the tier above them the next year. And the way it works in the 3rd tier is that the top 2 teams automatically move up to the next tier, but the 3rd team through the 6th team, actually get into a playoffs where the 3rd team plays the 6th team, and then it's it's tournament style like that. But right now, Wrexham's in 2nd place with 5 matches left to go. They're sitting with 81 points, which is 6 points ahead of the 3rd place team. They, I don't want to call it a lock, but they look very, very secure in getting that 2nd promotion in 2 years, in which they'd be in the championship next year. And I know it's a long shot, but we can see this team in the Prem win the next 5 years. Like it's not really that crazy to say within the next 5, because I think once you get to the championship, it becomes a lot more difficult to get promoted. I mean, there are teams in the championship that have been playing the championship for the last 6, 7, 8, 9 years, and they're still mid-table. There are teams that we see in the Premier League that used to be Premier League mainstays, and now they're fighting just to get back into the Premier League. We look at teams like Norwich, West Brom, teams that are kind of teetered back and forth. Teams like Southampton right now, which we'll talk about in a second, who teeter back and forth. A team like Leeds, a team like Leicester. Leicester won the Premier League, and then a few years later, they're back in the championship. Now they're kind of bouncing back and forth. So I think once you get to the championship, it becomes a lot harder to get promoted and stay in the Prem. But I mean, from $2.5 million valuation to $100 million valuation in 4 years, three promotions in just about the same amount of time. It's crazy what good ownership can do to a team. And like we always talk about some of our owners, and obviously we have clubs that have been here for hundreds of years, and they're very, very big and they're staples. But we always talk about ownership and how they can make and break a club. And I think what this club has done is just they listen to the community, they listen to the fans, they figured out this is what we can do to potentially help this club move in the right direction. And I don't think either of them thought that they would get this far in that amount of time, but it just goes to show if you actually invest and you spend a lot of time trying to actually work on the club itself, you'll see your returns. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think anybody thought within 3-4 years this team would now be almost 50 times what they were worth before. But it's crazy, man. It's just super cool to see.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what they look like in the championship because, like you, I think that they'll get promoted. But once they get into the championship, I think the real test begins because, like you said, there's a lot of teams in there that have been there for a while. Then we've seen them in the Premier League. But yeah, so I mean, that's what it is for me. There's a lot of competitive teams in the championship, but you said 5 years. You think that they could do it in sooner? You think they could do it in 3?
No. No. Let's be like we say, the championship is where the real test begins. Because if I feel like, and I could be wrong, but I feel like with those lower tier, just like the lower tiers, like League One, the North League, like if you just get an owner that invests, you could get a decent squad to then, move up the ranks. When you go to the championship, bro, it's a different type of grind. They play 46 matches, I believe. It's different, and then on top of that, they still play in what's it called? The domestic tournaments. So they have a lot of matches. It's a grind. And then on top of that, you have teams that, like you said, have been there for a long time. You have to get through Sheffield's, Norwich's, West Brom's, Leeds, like you have to get through Preston North End. Can you go to Preston and win? Like can you go to Millwall and win? It's playing 2-3 times a week. That's when the real test begins. So are they gonna be able to get into the Prem it'd be a miracle, bro, if they get into the Prem in 3 years. I honestly think so. Unless they truly invest some crazy money into it. Even still, it's still going to take 3 years, bro. Because is that manager even the right manager to get them to the Prem? There's so many variables now. Like the championship is going to really, even from an ownership standpoint, be like, oh, okay, this is a little bit different now, because now there are TV deals. Now there's, they play on Paramount. They're on ESPN Plus, but now they're on Paramount. So yes, you get an influx of cash and things like that. But now, do you have the right sporting director? Do you have the right, facilities to attract players? Do you have the right this, the right that? Now, if you really want to get to the Prem, that's your goal. There's a lot to consider. And I'm sure, they're owners. I'm sure they considered it. I'm all for them. I'm not trying to say anything bad about them, but championship is a whole different ballgame completely.
I think it's also I think for me, the investment from Rob and them, I'm just watching it I've kept up with them through the show. And a lot of your decisions that Cornelius you're mentioning, I definitely see in how they. It's not just including the fans, but they're just not. They're getting the right people, the people that are not trying to make any like signings for the sake of like money or like image or anything like that. It's like, yeah, we just need this player who's the best player. So I know the money part is helpful. Like a team like coming from where they're coming would not have made it without that type of investment. But at the same time, like with teams like City and Chelsea, it's about how you invest. And they've invested into the right players, and into the right staff, the administrative staff. And you can feel it, like the fans are behind it, the staff are behind it. And it's crazy to think that we could watch this happen live. Well, recorded at least over the years. I agree with you. I don't think they're going to make the Premier League in that soon. But when they do, that's going to be the craziest season. And I'm so here for it. As now I'm like, I'm a fan of the show, and it's almost making me a fan of the club in a weird way. I'm just like, all right, I do really want to see y'all do well.
Yeah, I agree with a lot Gabriel said, about, from the championship. Now you're looking at it, it's a whole new ball game. But for us to even see this happening, I said it in our group chat yesterday. It's kind of cool watching a club, go through in real time, become one of the top clubs, and it's actually interesting. So, but I'm rooting for them, man. I want to see it happen. I mean, eventually they'll become a case study if they actually are able to make it to the Prem within a short few years. It'll
Absolutely.
prove that it's doable. So it's a cool story. I think we should keep following them if they make it to the championship, just to see what happens.
Yeah, and sorry, I just wanted to say lastly, just like the the bias exists when it comes to just American owners, American people in general, when it's involved in football, especially over there overseas, in England specifically too. So from that aspect, definitely, I'd like to see them do well. You have a lot of American owners that are in the league now who, everybody doesn't always have the nicest things to say about them, but those clubs, to be fair, are also entirely way bigger clubs than Wrexham is at the moment now too. So, I think that they're doing everything right. I think they're doing what they need to do for now. But like I
Absolutely.
said, when you get to the championship and you start seeing, there's more internationals now. International players that are playing in the championship. So yeah, we'll see. But quickly, I wanted to ask you guys: do you think it'd be easier for them? Well, do you think it'd be easier for Wrexham if they were in La Liga? Which league would it be harder to advance
They're
the way?
getting cooked in La Liga.
That's what we were talking about before we started recording. Like,
yeah.
And this is no disrespect to them. I think what they've done is very inspiring, but I just with the way that the game is played in England, I think it's a lot easier for teams like that to find success week to week than it is to go to Spain and actually play against teams that kind of digest the game a little bit differently than I would say English and almost Americans do.
Dang, do you think they're? I don't even know if they stay in City A.
No.
Do they get to see? Nah, there's no way.
Different game, bro. It's a different game. You got to be.
City A is weird, man.
I mean, I
don't know.
I feel like it's weird because we're also comparing them to the top division when they haven't made it to the top division.
Yeah,
I don't watch
I don't watch enough. Yeah,
but I know what y'all saying. I think based on just like style of play, England is great for them. Kind of like how I was saying before, because there's a lot more systems in place. Where I think in other countries there are systems for sure, but there's a lot more free flowing football. You're allowed to see these players express themselves a little bit more. For
Yeah, they're actually good.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's all I was saying. So I was just saying like it's I don't know, it's tough, but yeah, interesting stuff. I mean, in conclusion, I just think on the business side, what Salam was saying about the American owners, there is that stigma, and it's different when you're an American owner and not to throw Todd Bowley and this, our owners under the bus, but you come in and you think you know everything, and you start with changes, and after 2 years you realize maybe you don't know everything. You take a step back. This, based on what Solo said, he's watching the show. I haven't seen the show, but it seems like they know that we're ignorant. We don't really know the culture. We don't really know the business. So let's go and get the best people and put them in these positions and educate us about the game. And I think that's why this Wrexham, case study is going the way it's going, because these guys have the influence and they know they can bring the sponsors, but they actually want to grow this club. So they go bring the right people in to do what they have to do to grow the club. And then as far as, the play side, can they stay in the championship? I agree with Gabriel on a lot of his points. I think that it's going to be very, very telling once they step into the championship on how grueling it is. But I don't think this is, like Gabriel said, this is the real test. I think everything leading up to this, was these owners figuring out how the English game works. They've been here for 3 years, 4 years now. So now they kind of understand the English game. Now they're getting to level 2. This is, can we figure this out? Can we stay in the championship? Can we make it to the championship and not get relegated our first year? I think that's step 1. If they can stay mid-table in the championship, I think that's where you build. So it's going to be real interesting to see what this team does. But again, I think like all
it should be, it should just, sorry, this is my last thing. It should just be, just don't get relegated.
Yeah,
just don't get relegated year 1. If you can just not get relegated year 1, that's huge success, because then that's year 2 of a Paramount or whatever, major network picks up championship again. So, and then that's really what it takes. If you can retain your status in that league for a little bit and get that extra bread every year, then that's going to help you to, do what you need to do. And then, everything else will come with it. But that's,
again, I don't think it's going to be an issue for these guys to pull sponsors. I think that part is there. I think now that they've done the business side, it's coming to the play. What can those 11 on the pitch do for 90 minutes? That's where they're going to have to get figured out, because they're going to be exposed. Like every championship, newly relegated, newly promoted team, you get exposed a little bit. You figure out, okay, this is where we need to improve. So for them, I think they've passed level 1, and now just like G said, this is the real test. Can we get past this step and stay promoted after year 1? But very interesting stuff over in Wrexham. And as an American, and wanting to always boost the American owners, these guys are doing it the right way from what I've seen thus far. But
yeah, they approach it humbly. Like every episode they talk about, like, we know that we don't know like what we're doing. And there's a lot of American owners that come in and just be like, whatever, throw money at it, it's gonna eventually. And I'm like, nah, that's not how the sport works.
Agreed. Yeah, man. But let's get to our Premier League teams. We're getting into the last few months of the season. 8 matches left for most teams. 7 matches for some teams as well. We got to talk about it, man. This is the final countdown. Last 7 matches. Southampton has been relegated officially after today's matches. They had, I think, officially, or are they the quickest team to have been relegated ever?
Yeah, so far.
That's crazy.
There we go. That's what
I know it's a little early for crash out of the week, but they done crash out of the Prem in April. What's the date? April 6th. Fam, that's
my goodness.
Yeah, I don't know. But
it's crazy to think that this was a team that produced or had at one point Mane, Van Dijk. Like, I don't like teams like this. Like, I feel bad for them to some extent, because they can only exist by selling their best players. And then look what happens. They just that's what causes the yo-yo. It's just like they'll get some great players, they recruit them in the championship level or scouting or whatever, and then they get into the Prem, they don't win their first year or 2, and then they just sell out all their best players, and then boom, they're relegated. I'm like, man, it's again, it shows the competitiveness of trying to stay, like we were talking about earlier.
But this is what I'm talking about, bro. Like with the ownership, because Southampton, in the 2000s, they had a great academy. Like they were pumping out players, bro. And it's like, so how are you? So there's something being lost where you have a good academy, you have decent players, you're doing somewhat good business, but you're not capitalizing off of that, and that's why, and that's the issue. You know what I mean? But it's
yeah. I mean, they've had a lot of people leave though. Like when they were good and they were pumping out all those academy prospects. I can't think of who the person was, but they had someone in there that was, instrumental to bring in all these guys. I mean, think about T.O. Walcott, Oxlade Chamberlain, Gareth Bale. Like, all these guys were all under one guy.
I did not know Gareth Bale came from. That's crazy.
Yeah,
I thought he was Spurs or something the whole time.
That was
like one thing Spurs did.
You'd be surprised when you look who came through like the 2000s, like early 2010s.
Yeah, but
shout out to Poch, man. When they had Poch,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when you look at him, you know what I'm saying? Like that was another guy who has experience working with younger players. But I think once they got away from that, and that's what happens, like we were talking about earlier with Wrexham, you're kind of doing things one way, and then when you get to the first, division, all this pressure comes because it's like, you have all this money being thrown at you, and then the desire of wanting to stay into the league makes you make, in my opinion, irrational decisions. Like for example, like who is their manager now? The same manager that started the season for them? No. So it's like, why are you getting rid of him? I'm sorry. Like, I know that you're at the bottom, but it's like, this is the guy who got you here. We're just going to abandon his philosophy mid-season and bring in someone else, and then you expect to just survive. Like, what kind of thinking is that? Like, I'm sorry, but you deserve to go back down. 100%.
I think one of the things we have to consider too is the ownership. What did you do? Did you do enough coming into the Prem season? Did they do enough? I don't think they did. Yeah.
You pocket all that money, right? You pocket all the money that you get. And then you're like, oh yeah, we'll be good. We can finish in, the third to higher. You know what I'm saying? The spot.
And Ramsdale was not enough. I'll tell you that.
Ramsdale was not enough. A couple of lone guys. No. You got to spend.
And I think we got a return on investment.
Yeah, in the most recent example is Forest. The year they came, they bought over 20 players.
Yeah,
easily over 20 players.
They spent like top 3 or 4 most in the league that year.
Exactly, because
they
like
spent in January. They bought like 3-4 players.
Yeah, you have to compete. The same guys you brought from the lower league, those guys are not going to be able to compete with the guys that are already playing in the Prem. It's just, I feel like it's just common sense at this point. It's a different level. So when you come in, you got to at least close the gap a little bit. And then you hope, like Salam said, the manager that brought you here, hopefully with the resources you've given him, can take advantage. But I think they came in trying to be cheap a little bit. I don't know what the reasoning behind what they did, but they didn't do enough for me to stay in the Prem. So I'm not even surprised. 10 points with 7 games left to go. That's crazy.
Yeah, bro. You're 22 points off of 22 points off of the team that's in 17th place right now, and you think like, bro, that's on you guys, And then you look at like Leicester and Ipswich. I feel like have different situations, but Southampton, you've been in the league before multiple times. You know what I'm saying? You're one of from these 3 teams, you're one of the few teams who have actually got promoted and stayed a season. And it's like, I don't know, bro. I just think that, again, like Mike said, financially, like, what'd you guys do? You brought in Ramsdale, you know what I'm saying? Kalmadine, the Ghanaian striker.
They got a couple of known guys from Chelsea. They got Oguchukwu, and I don't know who else.
Didn't they get Ampadu like a while ago?
But they don't. Oh yeah, Ethan. Yeah. But I'm saying, like, for this season, people that are going to help them this season. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not playing the guys that are going to help you like mid-season. So I think, this is you wrote your own death note. You signed it. So have fun playing with Wrexham. next season. We'll see you in
Hey,
2020.
yeah, that's funny. That's funny. Shout out Wrexham. But yeah, man, it's sad to see a team like Southampton just. I feel like they went the first 7 matches, no wins, no draws. We're like, all right, when are they gonna get their first point? Like it was one of those, like, are they gonna go 10 matches without getting a point in the league? You're at that point, we were all kind of like, all right, well, Southampton's dropping. Who's next? So it's sad to see that, but let's talk about teams that are actually fighting for some right now. We got Solo here giving us his time. Want to start with City right now. Not the most fulfilling week for you guys. Started off with a 2-0 win at home against Leicester. You travel not too far. You stay in Manchester to see your crosstown rivals, and it's a 0-0, very, very boring draw at Old Trafford. At this point, what do you see for the rest of your season? Because you guys are fighting for one thing, and that's top 4.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, and in between that, we had Holland get injured. We barely won in our FA Cup game before too. It was really like a second half kind of showing. But it's just it's a continuing of a really rapid drop off in 1 year of just like our performance as a club, our players' motivations clearly. And you saw with like some of our youngins, like Nico O'Reilly, and then when they get on, they're ready to play it because they've been, held back a little bit for a while. I think for the rest of the season, our best bet is, again, it really is just fighting for top 4. I hate being in positions where you're waiting on other teams to lose or draw. It's just it doesn't feel like a fun thing to like support, because then it's like, all right, I don't even like, we win.
Welcome to the rest of the
Let's say,
league.
yeah, welcome to us.
Yeah, reality.
Yeah.
It's such a it's not the best way to support. But it's I would say, I think the Club World Cup is, I have my problems with it as a competition. I don't think it needs to necessarily exist. I see what it's going for. I just feel like the way they're forcing it is really frustrating. But as a competition, I mean, I think they said the prize money for that is like $1 billion if you win every game. And I'm like, that would be nice, depending how these court cases go, to have a little cushion of like profit to work with. But that's the season that we're in, man. And I think our best bet is doing well in that competition and chasing top 4. I do think we can still break into top 4, but it's heavily reliant on what Chelsea does and what pretty much every other team around us does, which sucks. Our destiny is in our own hands anymore, and then we can't blame anyone besides our poor planning last summer, our poor kind of planning for the fact that our players are on their last hamstrings and last legs. They were, the ACLs are falling off the bone left and right in our club, and we got to get. We didn't plan for that the way that we should have. So, and now we're here. So yeah, hopefully we get top 4, but I'll be watching Chelsea's games more often to determine that.
I feel like, I honestly feel like Newcastle's your biggest threat, because if Newcastle win the next 2 matches, you guys are chalk. I feel
That's
like
a good point.
you guys are, if Newcastle win their games in hand, you guys are cooked. And I don't know who the games in hand are against.
They got 2 games in hand.
I'm sorry. Can we do a fact check? Do we know who their game in hand?
I'm looking now. They have Leicester tomorrow. They play us on the 13th.
Okay.
They play Crystal Palace 3 days later. They play Aston Villa. So
yeah, they got. I didn't realize they were that far behind on games.
Honestly, those are.
But they still have. So this is the rest of the season. They have Leicester, United, Crystal Palace, Aston Villa, Ipswich, Brighton, Chelsea, Arsenal, Everton. So, the Chelsea match will obviously be tough because you guys are both fighting for top 4. I think Brighton will be tough. I think Aston Villa will be tough. Crystal Palace, they should be able to beat. Newcastle, it's actually my lock of the week. So if you guys haven't picked your lock of the weeks yet, hammer Newcastle -1 tomorrow.
That Palace Newcastle game is going to be trickier than y'all think.
Yeah.
Where's the game?
The Newcastle Palace game is at St. James Park.
Okay. I
So
love that.
I don't know. I just at that point, at that point, I mean, how far is it into the season? Oh, so it's not far. Crystal Palace actually, for the first time, they're in the semifinal of the FA Cup. So I think that they're going to have eyes towards that, honestly. But
Honestly,
when
Nottingham Forest, as solid as they are, they also have a little tricky games coming up.
They see Chelsea the last game of the season.
I wouldn't be surprised. I was going to say this earlier. I wouldn't be surprised. Where are they at in the table? They're third.
They're third, yeah. Same points though. They're same 31 points matched with
Could you see a scenario where they
sorry.
pop out of top four?
Yes.
I've always said they will.
Because when you look at the rest of their schedule,
Yeah, it's tough.
it's much more manageable than the other one. So they play Everton, Tottenham. In the semifinals, they play City, they play Brentford, they play Crystal Palace, they play Leicester, they play West Ham, and then last game of the season is against Chelsea.
Oh,
Those
that
games
schedule
are
is
wicked,
calm.
Yeah, it's not that bad. It's not.
Not that bad, but
It's tricky though. I think they're tricky matchups.
because
those
because
games.
at
They're
this
tricky, but man, they're too good defensively, bro. That's
They are.
that's the thing. And offensively, they have players that can get you a goal here or there. Elanga, for example, will just make a run and get you a goal. Hudson Odoi, another one, will get you a goal. Gibbs White can get you a goal. Like
Yeah.
they have guys that can just get you a goal. I see Forest staying up. I think there are 3 spots secured in the top 4. I
I feel you.
personally think so. I think it's
I mean,
us, or
Chelsea's
it's
schedule is
Liverpool, us,
yeah.
and Nottingham Forest, because I think Forest's schedule is calm, and I think they'll get results. And I think there's so much ahead of them that they're like, man, the top 4 is the goal, so we can be in Champions League. That's all they can think about.
Look
So
at their
Chelsea's schedule is crazy. It's ending with Liverpool, Castle, rescheduled United game, and the Nottingham Forest game. That's
Yeah.
a that's
no. We'll get to them. We'll get to them
yeah,
later. I have
we'll
a
talk
few
about it
things,
very soon. Yeah.
but not just with Forest though, man. That's another team where they've had a great season. But when I look at the big games that they've been in, you lose to Aston Villa. You know what I'm saying? You drew against Arsenal. You beat a struggling City side. You guys beat us, but I wouldn't say we're a very good team this year. You beat Ipswich in the FA Cup. You lost to Newcastle. You lost to Fulham. It's just like every game where I'm expecting you put up 7 against Brighton. Okay, so there's that anomaly there. You lost 5-0 to Bournemouth. So it's like when I'm looking at you guys in these big games, you kind of shrink. So
And
That's what I'm saying.
and that's why I said it's tricky. You look at a team like West Ham. Yeah, we don't expect them to be great because of the season that they've had that's been up and down this year, but they can catch Nottingham Forest. You look at a team like Villa.
West Ham?
You said Villa again. They
I
see
don't
us
think
the season. I already know what I got to say about that, and I'm going to keep.
you said West Ham. West Ham is not catching anybody.
All right.
West Ham, West Ham United.
Yes.
West
So
Ham
I want to
United,
ask you this.
the bubbles.
they're in 16th place, Cornelius.
All right.
Solo. So this week we heard KDB's leaving. Are you guys gonna be able to replace him? Because
Salam, drop the bells. Drop the
Baby.
bells for him, please. Drop the bells.
Oh,
Baby
yeah.
talking.
I don't.
We
Yeah,
can't replace
Drop
him.
the bells, man.
We
I
cannot
Will you be able to replace
we
him?
cannot replace him.
Damn, bro. I wanted to add that sound, man.
We cannot replace him.
I'm gonna hit you with this. Mike, ask your question again.
Are you gonna be able to replace KDB?
Nah, we cannot replace him. It's sad, I'll say one thing. Like KDB is one of the players that when I think about all my time of watching Sporting City, he's just a standout. Him, Silva, Yaya. We've always had some good midfielders, so for him to have stood out in the way that he has over the past years with us, and they're our most successful period by far. And it's just there's one player, and he was the last of the the pre-Pep signings. But what's interesting about the pre-Pep teams was that, you know, he was part of the attempt to get Pep to join City. They got him because they knew that's the player that Pep wanted, wherever he was going to go next. And that says a lot, like, you know, leaving out of Bundesliga with Bayern and the success that they had. I mean, no Champions League, but he really is that last connecting period before Pep that goes back to the time of when we would sing, you know, typical City, and typical that meant you know, we were going to lose everything, and we weren't going to, you know, song where it's like, we lost last week and we lost today, we're going to keep losing. It was just like, it was a time when the fans and everyone still had this feeling of like, we can at any moment just falter. And he came in at the time when, now when we say typical City, it's, oh, we're gonna win, we're gonna come back, and a lot of it comes from him and from his time with us. He's really truly one of the greats in the Premier League. For me, I think one of the greatest midfielders of all time, but definitely in my opinion, the best midfielder I've seen in the past 10 years or like within the 2010s period. And I think you could really put a shout for him as the greatest Premier League midfielder of all time, just because of what he's accomplished. I mean, he's won every trophy you can win. The stats, they speak for themselves. I mean, if you include the pass before they pass, as they say, he's all over that stat list. And he came here, they call him the reject, man, the flop. They were so ready. And I get the English media, that's how they are. They just, whenever they see a big number, they throw everything at that player. But the fact that he goes from the 60 million reject to now being the one that everyone says they respect, and that they wish they had kept. I mean, I think people often underestimate his time in Germany too. Like, he wasn't no scrub there. Like, he got I think I was looking up these stats earlier. When he was in Germany in 14-15, he got 16 goals and 28 assists in 51 games. That's a crazy numbers to pull after having Mourinho say he's not good enough to be with Chelsea. And, you know, no blame on Mourinho, no blame on Chelsea, because they've recruited so many players that you're bound to lose one or two out. It is what it is. But he won a DFB Pokal at the height of the Bundesliga, when it was Klopp's BVB. It was Bayern Munich coach, but Bayern Munich was
at their best. They're at their best.
The most competitive Bundesliga time period, and he was able to break the stranglehold of those two clubs on these trophies. And Klopp was straight up saying, like, listen, wherever I go, if you join this my team. He wanted him there. He saw how he scored, because he won the DFB Pokal against BVB. And, you know, there's this particular moment stands out. And again, it's
okay.
It's just, it is the story, the narrative. It's the reason that I bought this jersey, literally this goal. The thing is, I always I don't usually buy jerseys with players' names on it, because for me, I like to be more to the club than to the player. But he's one of the few players that I would buy with his name on it, in hopes that I could get it signed one day. Because doing this against the club, listen, or hey, Charlotte FC, he might be coming here too. And so, like, if he this game, this particular moment, because he often gets criticized for not having big moments. Chelsea was amazing this year and the year before. They were like, all the records that we broke, I realized were all records that were held by Chelsea before this point. And it was this 2 years where it was just they were unstoppable. Conte's Chelsea, and it was just really crazy to see, like, against the club that, you know, rejected him, against scoring the final game-winning goal from I was 30-yard out. It's like screamer, and it was against a player, Courtois, the goalie at the time, who he had so much beef with. Like, man, that man stole his girl or some crazy nonsense.
Leave that out.
All that to me. The reason I say that's because that's mentality, man. He has the mentality. He has the ability to turn it all off and just be like, I'm gonna make a moment. And he did it against Madrid a few times. He's done it against United plenty of times. And unfortunately, you know, injuries and these packed schedules, they've they've robbed us of like the longevity of so many great players. It's really sad to see how so many players that we're watching now probably won't be able to play, 15, 20 years away. Ryan Giggs and all of them did because they weren't playing for 4 or 5 games a season or no, sorry, a week.
Yeah.
We're bro, like Saka should not be having this many injuries at his age, and we know how that's going to impact him later. But we lost this. We lost the full 15 years that he probably could have played in the Prem. But the time that he was here, it was truly the greatest thing to see. And so I gotta say, man, Kevin De Bruyne, thank you for joining Man City. Thank you for doing the things that he did for the club. It literally like the player that helped me to really understand how you can balance being strong and fast the way the Prem wants, but still be technical and be smart. That like crazy, like long passes, things I've never seen before. And yeah, I just felt like at any era he would be an amazing player. And it's just amazing to be able to see him in this era.
Let me ask you a question. Sorry, go ahead, Mike.
No. I think you said everything. There's nothing for me to really add, but I have to change that narrative that we rejected him. The record has been set straight. He chose himself. Let's give him that credit. Mourinho said, I told him, hey, I can't play you, but I need you here. He's like, nah, I gotta play. So he bet on himself, and we've seen that in his career. He became his own agent at some point. So for me personally, he might be a top 2 all-time midfielder in the Prem. Top 2.
See, I was gonna ask you 2 questions. First of all, shout out to Mike for Mike being Jose Mourinho's continued PR too. But Solo, you threw a lot of he's the greatest, XYZ, one of the greatest midfielders, one of the greatest this and that. Let me ask you, as a Manchester City fan, is he the greatest Manchester City player ever? Because right now, if I were to ask someone that, the answer I would expect is Sergio Aguero. But this guy has accomplished things that Aguero hasn't. And rightfully so. Aguero has a bunch of goals, the trophies to show for it. But who do you think is City's greatest ever player?
That's tough, man. I think he's definitely in the competition because for me, the first person that comes to mind was David Silva, and that's just a personal thing. I didn't really understand. He's one of those players that when I watched David Silva, I didn't really understand the value of that type of player and what they can do, just like what it means to be called a magician, and really actually live up to that. I was like, I've never seen things, but he learned from them. It was like he was the best combination. KDB was a combination of David Silva and Yaya Toure in some ways, and I felt like because of that, he might be. I would say he probably is. It's Aguero is he has some of our greatest moments. I can't take that away from him. Basically, the answer is I don't know. But if someone said he was the greatest, I wouldn't be mad at it. I wouldn't be mad at it if someone said, I'd be like, you know what, that's fair. He's one of the people I'm like, it's him, KDB. Aguero, KDB, and Silva are the 3 where I'm like, if someone says that's the greatest, I'm like, oh, that's fair. I feel that.
That's a good point, man. Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know, man. I would say Aguero, but then again, I'm like, it could be KDB. Yeah. Aguero only for the fact that goal, man,
meant a lot.
That championship winning goal, it's cemented forever. Not only in Prem history, in City's history. So it's like, how much does that weigh when it comes to all-time conversation? And I agree with you. You can't go wrong with either, but it's a tough one.
With midfielders in the Prem, there's only a few midfielders I would say I feel like can be in competition with him, and a lot of them are United midfielders. It's Scholes. It's what do you call it? I'm blanking on his name. It's
Roy
Scholes.
Keane or Beckham?
No, Beckham. I think other midfielders that come to mind in terms
of the modern era. Let's go with the modern. Let me throw a few names. Let me throw a few names at you.
Yeah.
There are different types of midfielders, but towards
Yeah.
the latter end of his career. He was more of an advanced, or I think the younger part of his career. He played a little bit more advanced.
Yeah.
Cesc Fabregas.
Better.
Okay.
I agree.
I'll go.
Okay. No objections from everybody else.
He put
I
up both
told
our
you it's
teams.
two.
We ain't say
There's
nothing.
one guy. I don't know if I'll put him over. It's
Okay,
two.
this is gonna hurt. This may hurt a little bit because they're different types of midfielders. But I want to ask you: is he a better attacking midfielder than this person was at what they did? Michael Essien.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Okay, Yaya
Absolutely.
Toure. Yaya Toure.
Yeah.
Again, I'm
Yeah.
not
Styles,
comparing.
but I'll give
I'm not
KDB.
comparing profiles. I'm just
Yeah.
comparing like what he
Overall,
does,
they
what
get.
he
Okay.
does. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think he's better than him. I like for real. For me, it's like it's hard, man. It's really Frank Lampard is up there. I would think he's
Frank
the
is the
person.
only one I have a hard time.
Yeah.
With
As
KDB
an
over there.
Ozil. As an Ozil.
Yeah. For
Yeah.
Prem specifically, yeah, for sure.
Okay, but stop it.
No,
Give
no,
us-
no, no.
I mean,
Stop,
Kevin's
stop.
literally
Stop,
won
stop,
everything,
stop,
so it's
stop,
hard
stop,
to
stop.
say.
It's
I
not
know,
even-
but we're
And
I'm not
talking
gonna.
Arsenal Ozil, not overall.
We're not talking
Arsenal
about
Ozil.
accolades here. I'm not talking about accolades.
Yeah,
No,
I'm
we're
just
talking
saying.
ability, but
I'm just
you have
saying
to.
personally. I'm just saying personally. Ozil didn't have a striker, bro. Because if even with the highlights that he does have, if we had a proper striker, 25 to 30 a season, bro, he'd have so many more highlights, and this wouldn't really be a discussion. But I understand why you're gonna put De Bruyne over. I completely understand. So I'm not like arguing it, but
Fair.
I do want to say that Ozil, bro, the things that guy saw. I don't even know how he's, bro. He was seeing sounds. He was seeing sounds. He was seeing
So
vibes,
then,
and it was insane.
when we get up to that upper echelon now we're looking at guys like, because when you say the greatest, I'm talking about Lampard, I'm talking about Gerrard. You know what I'm saying? This
He's
may
over
be
Gerrard.
Jared ain't win nothing,
Declares
man.
Gerrard.
no. Forget
Declares
the
Gerrard.
wins and losses. You know what I'm saying? Because if we're gonna do numbers, well, it
Yeah,
ends
yeah,
with
yeah.
it ends with United. So let's not do that. I'm just saying, like, from just specifically just what you saw as a player. You know what I'm saying? This may be a hot take. I think De Bruyne was better than Gerrard and Lampard.
And Lampard?
Both.
Come
Well,
on. Say Gerrard and Scholes. Lampard?
So
Come on, man.
Listen,
the way y'all
listen,
be doing my man, it's
when
crazy.
we do the three, Mike, you and I have talked about this many times. When we rank those three, the three I'm talking about.
I know.
You know where Lampard is for me. Lampard is at the bottom of that list.
No.
So
Which
when
I
we do Scholes,
I-
Even bias.
do Gerrard.
I agree. If we're talking strictly ability, I agree. It goes Scholes, Gerrard, Lampard.
You could even do
You
Gerrard,
guys are
Scholes, Lampard.
tripping.
Comfortably, we can say
No,
Lampard is
I don't
third.
think. I don't
I
think.
put Lampard over
What?
Gerrard.
I
Scholes
get
is
the
up,
Scholes
but-
hype. I mean, I get the Gerrard hype, but I don't rate him that high. And like I rate him over Lampard ability wise slightly, but for me, like, and that's why I say if we're talking numbers, then it doesn't matter. But if we're talking strictly ability, I get why everyone loves Gerrard. I just don't hold him in high regard like that. So I would put De Bruyne over him for sure. Personally, I'm putting
I
him.
agree with that. I agree with that.
I
The hard part
I'm
for
putting
me
him
is
over
that
Frank too, as much as it hurts.
Salam, my beef with Scholes in these type of conversations.
Who was it? Let me hear it.
Injury prone. I mean, I'm sorry. Like
That's
you were
fair.
good, but you were out a lot.
That's fine.
I'm sorry. To me, that's what it comes down to when it comes to Scholes. But those three you're talking about,
Yeah.
I think always Gerrard should be third. In that three, Lampard, Scholes, you could do whatever you want.
I agree with that.
So when
Lampard
we
is
put-
not three. This is
Just
no
when we
way,
add
guys.
KDB, then
Yeah.
to those three, we can say, because for me, ability wise, I feel like Scholes and
KDB,
De Bruyne are
okay.
up here. Gerrard, I feel like gives you a little bit more of, I would say, offensive and defensive balance, as opposed to
Agree.
Lampard does for the most part. Lampard offers you more goals.
Yeah,
But
Lampard
this
just
guy-
scores for no reason. He'll just be
Lampard,
in. He's really good at that part of it.
But
That part of his game is crazy.
De Bruyne is giving you 15 and 20. 15 and 25.
He might give
10
you 20
10
and 20 depending on who's
He may,
around.
yeah. Maybe even like the last few years, maybe he won't get up to 15, but I'll give you 10 and 25, 27, 30.
Deadly free kick taker too. When he's been consistent with
I don't know, man. I just think the more I asked that question, not to be like, prisoner of the moment, but the more I feel like we witness history a lot in real time. We talk about Mohamed Salah all the time, like this year breaking records, and I feel as if sometimes we hold on to these ideas that we're kind of programmed to think like no one's touching these guys, but it's like we've never seen a Kevin De Bruyne before.
No,
You've
we
never
haven't.
seen- Sorry, but none of them. Gerrard wasn't doing stuff that Ozil was doing. When it comes to like, I don't know, bro. I just think that it's such a archaic thinking. Like we can't let go of like, oh, these are the guys. You'd be surprised, man. I feel like a lot of these guys that are playing now are a lot better than.
No,
some
I
of the
agree.
guys.
Yeah, and they got all the benefits of modern everything, like just training and schedules and everything. But they're still just really good. I mean, scouting has been improved every year. Like the academies have gotten improved. Some of these kids are just amazing at like 19, 18. Could really. I mean, we're seeing it with Lamine Yamal. Like he's just insane what they're accomplishing. I think with KDB, one thing that gets underrated about him is, yes, City has had a really good team, but we've had some. I mean, he was having to do assists for Gabriel Jesus, Sterling. These are misfires, man. They misfire everything, and we like the amount of times, and other teams are seeing it
I
now.
don't even want to hear the
There's so
complaining,
many
bro.
times where he could have gotten 30 assists, 40
Get this
seasons.
guy.
All right,
We
now we're
just
talking about
had
if ands or buts.
I'm just saying.
No, but I'll say this though. I think it's just a conversation we're not ready to have, because if we're really, really trying to talk the main three, everybody feels untouchable. I think KDB touches each and every one of them, to be honest. The only thing with me, it's just the Lampard, the goals thing. Bro, it was huge for us. Those Lampard goes out of nowhere, bro. It's crazy. But that's I don't know if it's just bias, but I feel like that should count for something.
This could be a topic for another time because I know we got to move on. But I want y'all to think about: is it the amount of goals that's most important, or is it how decisive those goals are? Because Mike, I was with you that year that Chelsea won the first Champions League. I heard every word you had to say about Fernando Torres, and then when he scored that goal, always
it was
forget.
over.
Yeah, always forget.
This was the thing, though. Torres was trash in the league, but he had a great European campaign.
Exactly.
He had a great European campaign, and as much as I was not a for that, because I didn't want him in the first place, because that was back when I was young.
Injured.
Like, why is this Liverpool want to even touch our team? I don't want to touch him. Like, that's a Liverpool player. Keep him away from me. Whatever happened, he didn't have the greatest run with us, but what he did in Europe. Go back and look at his European goals for us. Trust. I think he had like 4 or 5.
He came through.
He came through in Europe.
Yeah.
I was cool with him in Europe.
You remember that miss he had against United, Mike?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Remember, I didn't even know because I was celebrating.
Yeah, he was celebrating. Mike jumped off the couch and started dancing in the kitchen, and I was like, "Oh, go kick." So I'll let him figure it out. But let's move on, man. United, I'll keep it short. We can get to the United segment. Obviously, this game was a much bigger game for City than it was us. Our role today was simply to display spoiler. Obviously, we lost the midweek match versus Nottingham Forest, a 1-0 defeat at the hands of Anthony Elanga. Shout out to him. And, shout out for Garnacho for also, not taking the foul when he was supposed to. I felt like he should have just did his job and, kind of understanding the situation of the game, taking the foul. Nonetheless, we lose that game. And then today, Cornelius called the game boring. I think that we executed our game plan to a T. I don't think we're not a team that can go toe to toe with City. But to be very honest with you, and this is no shade, Solo, when I saw De Bruyne and Gundogan in the same midfield in the starting 11, I knew we had a chance because physically, I knew you guys couldn't. You couldn't. They're just not where they are physically. So
Yeah,
obviously,
you're right.
we have Casemiro in there too. So like, I'm not by any means saying that like we're going to outrun you by any means, but I think that gave us a pretty equal starting point, especially when you see how the game went. But for us, man,
got the ball. Every time Xerxes got the ball and was running at us, I was like, "Oh my god, man, this is it!" Just because I saw how tired everyone was, they couldn't stop it.
Yeah, bro. I thought Xerxes was fine when he came on. I thought that he helped us a little bit more than Rasmus Højlund has. And I wanted to touch on that, man. But I said a few weeks ago he's a player that I would like to see us move on, but I'm loving the XG talk surrounding him now. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, he doesn't have any XG, no expected goals. Harry Maguire came in, and I think he had more XG in about 2 minutes. It came from a cross, but I don't know, man. If you watch our games, you see that we don't really create enough chances for our strikers. And I mean, in the last 4 games, he's had 1 shot on target. That's not entirely all his fault. But again, I would like to see us move on from him. And I think our best chance of success is just in the Europa League. So I'll get to the Europa League a little bit later when we do predictions. But today, man, this is just formality. We have a few Premier League matches left. We just got to get through them, hopefully with no injury. Mason Mount came back today, and he didn't get hurt, so that was a plus for us. And yeah, man, just another day of the office.
Yeah, I would agree. That's I definitely want to tap more into United when we talk about our predictions, because I think Europa League is your best chance at capitalizing on anything this year, to be honest.
100%.
But yeah, man, just kind of want to move and switch gears to Chelsea. Mike wasn't here last week, but so I'll keep my segment short and sweet. But last week I said that we would have 4 points through our 2 matches this week. I said we would win our midweek match. I said I didn't really know where the goals would come from. Didn't really expect Cole Palmer to have the best match, but as you saw, our midfield got it done, man. I want to give a big up our midfield. They really showed that, and I said this, earlier this week in the chat, or I said this to Gabriel. They haven't shown that they're worth 100 million. They haven't gotten there yet. Nowhere close. But I said that Mike has always had the vision, and I want to commend Mike for this, because he's always said, "Yo, just give it time. Just give it time. You'll see Enzo. You'll see Caicedo. You'll see what they're good at. Just give it time. Just give it time." It's been 2 years, and so it's been a frustrating 2 years, but I'm finally starting to see they're right. Like I told Gabriel, they're right around 75 million for the 100 million price paid for them. I think they're right. Both about 75 million.
Both of them?
Yeah. And I told Gabriel, and I said, since we bought them, I haven't really been able to pin down what Enzo's really been great at, right? I've said that multiple times on this podcast. We know Caicedo. We know he has a high ceiling. We know there's still a lot of raw talent there. But with Enzo, there was, we paid all that money, and I wasn't really able to pin down what he's good at. And watching him play over this past week, what I can fully say that he's good at the fundamentals. And I don't say that with any slight, but a lot of our players, and I'm not just talking about Chelsea, I'm talking about a lot of our teams. A lot of our players can't make a simple 10-yard pass. They don't know how to put the weight of the ball on a 30-yard pass. They don't know how to trap the ball, bring it down, turn out of pressure, make sure that they can contain. They don't know how to do the simple things that, we as players, as former coaches, that we teach or that we learned when we were young, And so when I look at the game, a lot of what he does goes unnoticed because he's just doing the right thing. And a lot of the times he's in the right places because he just knows how to position himself. If you look at a lot of Enzo's goals this year, they weren't bangers. They weren't anything crazy, but he was in the right place at the right time because he's reading the game well. And that's what Enzo brings to our midfield. He reads the game very well. He's not the most athletic, but he can play a 40-yard pass. He can play a 5-yard pass. He knows how to drop back. He knows how to position himself to be in the right place at the right time. And so, the goals coming from our midfield was huge because, again, like I said, in the past few weeks, we didn't have Nicholas Jackson. We didn't have Madueke. Those two players are just coming off injury. It was good to see them play, but, they obviously aren't back to game speed yet. Cole Palmer has been in a slump since February. It's good to see him, get an assist, but he's clearly not all the way back yet. So for me, it was good to see our midfield showing up and saying, hey, we are worth this price tag almost. And so for me, that was huge. Like I said, Brentford was always going to be a tough match. I said I thought it was going to be 1-1, ended up being 0-0. As much as I, have my qualms with Robert Sanchez, 2 clean sheets on the week. I cannot complain. So for me, this was a very, very, very huge week. Stayed top 4. All the madness that happened around us, we didn't really let it, blindside us from our goal, which is top 4. So huge, huge week for us. All I have is positives from the Chelsea side, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree with everything you just said. I just want to point out that what a different team we look like when Nicholas Jackson is on the field. Like, I know a lot of people, he gets a lot of criticism from, a lot of Chelsea fans. There's a huge difference when Jackson is on the field and Jackson's not on. It's on the field and off the field. I mean, this midweek game, no complaints. It was a little frustrating that we only scored 1 goal. I feel like it should have been more. My main complaint this week, I would say, is today. The lineup Maresca put out. My guy, we play on Thursday. I know some of these guys are in a slump. You want to get some of them healthy. I get it. But my goodness, the lineup you put out this morning,
it's tough.
I was just like, you're trying to get yourself fired. Because you got Nkunku, who just doesn't look like he wants to be here. I'm cool with him. I'm cool with us selling him. He just doesn't look like he wants to be here. I'm sorry. Jackson came on, and it was a complete different game. Not because he was doing anything spectacular. He was just trying. Nkunku was just not trying. No pressure. I mean, do I pressure? Do I wait? You're constantly seeing him pointing at somebody, putting his hands up. I'm just like, dog, come on. Do you want to play for us or not?
I don't want to cut you off, but there was a point where
No, go ahead.
There was a point where I forgot who it was, but they played him a ball where he was supposed to come to the ball. It was
Enzo. I remember that. Yeah,
it was Enzo, and he was pointing as if he was going to make the run. And
yeah.
the announcer even said, and here's Nkunku pointing towards the field as if he was making a run that he hasn't made this whole year. And in my head, I'm just like, that's hilarious because just like as an announcer saying that shows that you yourself are seeing that he's obviously not doing what he's supposed to.
He's not interested. He's literally not interested to be here. I get it. He wants to play more, which is fair. I feel like he also should play more, but in the way the team is set up now, I really don't see how you're going to really get in. I mean, it's April. Just take your role. Your role is the bench guy. Just accept it for the goodness of the team and just play a role. I mean, other than that, this game was just very frustrating because it was 2 different complete games in the first half and the second half. We start the whole game with the lineup we had in the second half. Probably a different game. It's probably a different game. But I don't know what Maresca's thinking. I've trusted him all season, so I'll keep trusting him. But this top 4 race, man, I respect City too much to think that, they're not going to be in the top 4. Newcastle continue to show me that they can do it. They get in this mode where it's almost like we can beat anybody. Yeah. And then sometimes, too, it's like, I don't even know what team I'm watching. So if the Newcastle that can beat anybody is what shows up these last 6-7 weeks, we can kiss top 4 goodbye.
Where do you fit Villa? Where do you fit Villa in all this?
Villa is also an interesting case. They're right behind. They're what, 2 points away now?
They're 51 points. You know?
Cornelius, it takes me back to that game we watched together in Columbus. That was that. I don't know why, but that game, I was like, we have to win this game. Even this Brentford game, this was a game we should have won. But you walk away with the point. Hopefully, we get to play another game, see what happens. But that Villa game could come back and bite us. And I don't know, man. Top 4 is tricky, but I have confidence in what we're doing. Let's see what happens. But other than that, Maresca, this is not the time to be tinkering. It's April. You should know who your guys are. I'm sorry.
You don't think he was
know
looking,
who you're betting on?
You don't think he was looking ahead at Thursday's game?
Dude, it's Thursday.
No, I understand.
Play them early, rest them a little bit. I get it. I know what he's trying to do. Most of these guys just came back from injury. I get it, but still, it's like
what have I been saying since about?
You should
November?
know who your guys are.
What have I been saying since about November, December, January, when we got into the new year, February, April? We're now in April, bro, and we're still seeing him tinker, and that's been my issue. That's been my issue since day one.
I think we know who the best players are. I think this is just my opinion, and I'll let you guys expand on it. I just think that he was looking ahead for Thursday. I think you fully know who Chelsea's best players are right now. There's a lot of question marks, and there are even guys that you probably know aren't long-term solutions, but they're the best option that you have right now. But I think we know who the mainstays are.
Salam, you
say who is the starting 11 for Chelsea? Like who's the best?
And that's my whole point. You saying we know who Chelsea's best players are? Like
we do.
Like we are all collectively the same people are not. Yeah. No, we don't. We really don't. Because I guarantee you, if we went around and says who we expect
it'll be different.
Our best 11 to be, we all have 5 different best 11s. So that means we don't know who the best 11 is.
Let me just real quick. Robert Sanchez is by no means a long-term solution, but he's the best keeper that you have right now.
Yeah, he's a starting.
I don't think so.
At the end of the year, sure.
You don't.
Our best keeper is on loan.
We done already messed up. This is the first. You the keeper. We done already messed up.
Yeah, no, but it's not. Mike, who are you saying?
For all intents and purposes,
look, Mike just said no. Mike just said he is not the best keeper that we have.
But for all intents and purposes, let's agree on Sanchez.
Okay, he's been number 1. Okay, he's the best.
Let's go through the back line.
Okay, but Gabriel, you want to bring up the guy from Iceland? He came in and we saw who he was in less than like what? So like I don't understand. Like it's not.
We're gonna pick Sanchez.
Listen, all I'm saying is there's a person who already disagreed with the first option that we just had. Continue.
Okay.
No, go ahead. Let's do it quick.
Okay, right back, Reece James.
I don't know if I'm taking Reece James right now.
It's crazy.
That's what I'm saying.
Honestly,
look at us.
Cornelius, you just said in the group text this week. You said it this week. Our most influential player is not even playing. So then, what are we talking about?
I agree.
Don't come on here and act like, there's
no. I agree with him.
You're not listening to what I'm saying, Salam. I just said less than 2 minutes ago. If you ask us all who our starting 11 is, it's all different because Enzo Maresca has not let us know. So whether or not you want to take the next 5-10 minutes to go player by player when we can all argue for the next 20 minutes, we don't have to do that because I can tell you right now, we're not going to agree on the 11. We won't.
Yeah. I think that there's mainstays. I think there's very few mainstays, and then I think everybody else, there's question marks around.
And
would you say?
I agree with solid. Yeah, everyone's coming off injury. Everyone hasn't played well. Everyone hasn't played with each other. We're seeing players that haven't touched the pitch. Like, so for me, it's like.
I'm sorry. Let's go through.
What's
the mainstay?
And that's what I'm saying.
Besides right now,
Nicholas Jackson, Enzo, and Caicedo, who's a mainstay?
Who's
actually a mainstay?
Jackson. Yeah, the 4. He just named.
I said
Jackson, Palmer, Enzo, Caicedo.
Sanchez too. You don't have anybody else. I'm just saying from now until the end of the season. If I'm a coach right now, you're saying you have to win a game tomorrow. Robert Sanchez, like I know what it is with you, but you have to start and go. Like I don't understand like the Caicedo, yes, Enzo, yes, Jackson, yes.
Palmer, yes.
Yeah, Cole Palmer, yes.
You know, it's funny.
Reece James, Malo Gusto, yes. Everybody.
See,
Your
I just
two
did a-
center backs.
You say Reece James, Malo Gusto, and I know Cucurella is starting. That's how I know you don't know because Cucurella is starting on the left. He is.
yeah, Cucurella is starting on the
He
left.
is. And as much as we might not agree,
Sorry,
he's
okay.
starting on the left.
Sorry.
If you
So
want to say
I just
Gusto
did
on the
a
right,
I
then
just did a
Reece on the left,
ChatGPT.
or Gusto on the left
Correct
and Reece
me.
on the
Chelsea
right.
best 11.
Sure.
I stand.
Yeah,
corrected.
I looked up the most consistent, and then I also used the most like best match rating, and this is what it came up with. So it's Robert Sanchez has been the most consistently starting, and I think it's my injury.
So which one are you starting with? Are you starting with most consistent or the best?
So it's both. I look like players that had the most consistent starts and then highest match
All right,
rating.
let's see what AI is giving us.
Let's see what AI does. So Mark Cucurella, Colwill, Fofana, and Gusto have been.
And
Fofana is even out for the year.
And when's the last time Fofana's touched the pitch?
The two
Exactly.
center backs are a question.
The
The two
midfield has
center
been
backs
completely
So our whole starting lineup's a question. That's the point I'm trying to get across. We couldn't
Come,
even
Salam,
get
this is, but we don't need.
best
disagree.
11. We
We
don't
can
know
agree
the
to
best
this.
11.
You're in it. I feel you, bro. You're in it.
No, bro, I'm trying to
I
tell
look
you
at-
as a fan of the game, we have not seen Enzo Maresca's best 11. If you want to argue that point with me, I'll go to the ends of the earth because we're sitting here trying to listen to AI right now. Like that's what we're doing because Maresca hasn't shown us. So now we're relying on AI to try to give us some sort of idea on what we think the best is because we don't know. And that's my whole point. I've been saying this since November. Your honeymoon phase is over. Who's our best 11? When we have to go win a battle, who are we going in with? And we don't know. That's my whole issue. So
That's fair. I just think your center backs, your two center backs, and your two wingers. I think if you fix those, like those are the question marks. And then obviously you have question marks based off of the guys that are playing. Like
okay, I'm just saying our personnel now.
fair.
We know we have to fix positions, but our personnel now, our 26-man squad, whatever it is.
I mean, we'll see on Thursday. We'll see on Thursday who his best 11 is because you're fighting for a trophy.
I'm sure we're all gonna have a good laugh.
Hold on. Y'all play Thursday, but before y'all play, I want everyone to submit in the group chat what you think the 11 is.
Crazy.
And then
It'll be funny. Trust me.
But yeah, you know, let's switch gears to Arsenal so we can talk about the MLS. You know, we've already taken up a lot of time, but Arsenal, not the most successful week, but as Gabriel said, you know, they're more so focusing on Champions League as the league is, you know, pretty much done and dusted. But I wanted to take your takeaways from the league. Obviously, Saka's been back. We've seen him get, you know, some run on the pitch ahead of this Champions League matchup against Madrid. So your takeaway from the matches this week, Gabe.
I mean, this just goes to show all season we haven't been able to capitalize on any of the weeks that Liverpool has dropped points. We haven't been able to capitalize. It doesn't matter if we went first. It doesn't matter if they went first. Doesn't matter. Every week, I want to go back to every week in the season. I'll pull this up for our season wrap up, but I can almost guarantee almost every single week that Liverpool has dropped points, maybe outside of maybe 1 or 2 weeks, if that, we have failed to capitalize, bro. Failed to. And that's why it's not closer than it should be. This is just matter of fact. But anyway, really just to speak about the match. I just spoke about, you know, how we're not able to capitalize, but also, man, I hate talking about it too, but these refs are just atrocious, bro. I'm sorry, but these refs are atrocious. It's disgusting what they're doing. And I hate to put it solely on the refs because, I mean, that's not what I want to do. Yes, we could have won the match, but this PK is disgusting, man. It's honestly disgusting. And I think it's against a player who's getting targeted. Personally, I really at this point I really do think about it like that. I feel like he's getting Shaka treatment. Like he's now
MLS.
Yes, Yes,
Wait,
let's speak about it.
I
Let's
got a
speak
question.
about it.
Hold on,
Let's speak about this foul that was on Jack Harrison. Let's speak about it because I will be completely fair and say yes, this is a PK. Yes, this is a red card. Yes, this is not a red card. When Miles Lewis Skelly was shown red card for that foul on the guy, barely getting out of starting a fast break, that was not a red. Like, we can all
That
be
was
fair.
not a red.
It's not.
Yep.
That was not a red. It's ridiculous. We can all go to this and say this is not a penalty in any form or fashion. This is not a penalty decision. We've seen, and I go to show again that when we watch this Liverpool match, Liverpool, their keeper, he takes out Andre Pereira, and then also there's another foul on someone in the penalty box, 16 something minutes, 20 minutes in. VAR says, "Oh, that's just regular contact. That's normal, just in the play contact." Okay. Miles Lewis Skelly, on the other hand, yes, he's falling, but both players have contact on each other.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They both have contact on each other. The contact starts outside of the box. Outside of the box.
Yeah.
By the time Miles Lewis Skelly falls, it's in the box. And listen, if he would have swiped back, if he would have tried to hit the legs of Harrison, I would have said, you know what? It's a PK because he's falling, he swipes back. But he doesn't do any of that. His arm naturally falls down, and Jack Harrison just falls. He just falls.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, there's no way that's a penalty decision. On top of that, if there is a foul, it's outside of the box, which VAR can't even rule on.
Yeah.
So it's like these decisions are just, and like we said, we see VAR skewed so many different ways here and there. Liverpool, again, Virgil van Dijk elbowed someone in the head and they didn't even get looked at. Here we are again, Miles Lewis Skelly doesn't do much at all, if anything, outside of the box when both players are both tugging for the ball, which are both football reactions, and yet there's a penalty decision. So, it's honestly just unfortunate.
This is my question for you about that. Would you have given that foul if it was anywhere on the field?
No.
I mean, bro, the thing is
no.
I had to pause right now. The contact obviously starts outside the box, but like the action that led to the decision, he's in. Louis Skelly is on the ground right now. They're both in the box. I think the problem
in the box.
He was too underneath the ball though. When the ball was up in the air, he was too, because when it bounced and when it took the first bounce and they were engaging to try and win the ball back, I think he was too underneath it. And Harrison had the leverage.
I understand that, but Salam, this is my thing. That VAR doesn't even tell the ref to go and look. They don't even. There's an option that says, you know what, ref.
Yeah.
You should go, and that's my point. VAR doesn't, bro. The decision was quick. The decision was so quick. It was. And VAR has deemed it. No, there's not enough for a look at. Excuse me. There's not enough, bro. And then if the on-field ref would have said he goes and to the screen and looks, I still would have had a problem with it. But at least it went through the channels. Bro, this doesn't even go through the channels. That's my issue. It doesn't go through the channels of what it's supposed to go to be deemed as a foul. Because this is not Salam. This is not a foul. This is not a foul.
I don't know.
See,
and fouls are rated differently in the box and outside of the box.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
Outside of the box, sure, this might be called deemed as a foul because the outside ref might have just waved his flag. The angles are different. This and the third. This is a penalty decision. Do we not?
It was too
clear. It's two clear differences between a penalty and a foul outside the box, and we rate them differently because if penalties weren't a thing, then VAR wouldn't be a thing.
Yeah,
it's simple. You know what I mean? So it's like for the fouls that are supposed to be deemed as they're penalty worthy. If there's any question marks about them, go and look at it. Go have the on-field ref look at it and have him make that decision. Why is that decision coming from up top? It's not deemed
I
enough
agree.
contact. There's enough contact? Are you serious?
But
Yeah.
even if you say there's
like
enough
you said,
contact, it's the contact is going both ways.
that's my point.
I feel like
So-
it's one of those that where you just call it outside the box because that's where it started. If you're going to call it a foul, it started outside, so just call it out there. I feel like at the end it was just too soft to call that as the PK.
And this goes
At the
back
end.
to the parameters around fouls, because in certain infractions in football, and this is a whole nother conversation, but these are just a couple of topics. Like when an attacker, if there's any type of handball against an attacker in the play of a goal, the goal is taken away, right? But for a defender, if the ball touches the hand, but it's deemed, it's a natural position, it's deemed not a goal, or it's not a handball, it's not a PK, it's this and the third. So once again, it's like, okay, that's different. It goes same thing to fouls. Oh, if this foul is deemed a foul on the outside of the box, but inside the box, the contact has to be more. This has to be more. So then what is that more? Like, we need to figure out these infractions and like the margins in these decisions, because it's ruining matches and it's ruining the game, honestly. But and I know it's like minuscule, but maybe it may seem minuscule, but it's really not, because the effect that it has on the outcome of the league, on outcome of matches, it is real, and it's way bigger than that. Maybe that margin may be. So it needs to be figured out. That's of course, this is a whole nother discussion for a whole nother day. And yes, outside of that, do I think we should have won? Yes. But to end, Saka is back, which I'm happy to see. He got sacrificed, unfortunately, for Gabriel, who's now out for the season with a hamstring injury. So that's that. Timber is also okay. I know he had a little knee niggle in the midweek match as well, but he's set to be okay. But yeah, it's just unfortunate the year that we've had with injuries, and I'm just going to put it to that. There's no team that, honestly, let me just say there's no team. There's not a lot of teams that would be still competing and doing things that we're doing with the players that we have down in so many places, and that we've had down throughout the season. So kudos to the boys for getting 4 points this week. We didn't lose this week, so it's not that much to be mad about. 4 points on the week, which is fine, and we just look forward to this upcoming week, which is Champions League. And I don't know if we're going to talk about Champions League this week.
Oh yeah, we will. Let's just slide through. Big one.
I have a lot to say about.
Yeah. Let's the champions. I don't think we really.
None of y'all there. Oh.
No, I was going to give it to you.
First and foremost, we also deep in the European tournament, so let's not do that.
Same.
No. I didn't even mean that shade. I didn't even mean that shade. I was like,
the tonality was a little.
To be fair, Gabriel, Cornelius, and Chelsea actually are in the UCL, so there's that. No, you're in the UCL. You're in the UCL
conference.
But man, let's start. I don't really. Real Madrid versus Arsenal. Gabriel, you said last week. Yeah, Gabriel, you said last week that this is the biggest test of the Arteta era, in your opinion. So, what are your thoughts going into this game?
I still do believe that. And it's hard to really put a gauge on it just because of the injuries that we do have, because I think if we have a different starting 11 than we have right now, it'd be 100% different. But this is still a huge test. This is going to tell exactly where we are at. I think individually, player wise as well, I think it'll tell where some of our players are at. I think this still is a good test. But I do want to. I have some strong sentiments about this Champions League right now. I do want to say that if, and when, if Arsenal are able to get through this draw, I think we're taking the whole thing. I'm not gonna lie. If we're able to get through this whole draw, if we're able to get through this draw, I think we can take the whole thing. Now, will we get through this draw? I don't know. I honestly, with Gabriel going down this past week, like this is me speaking last week with Gabriel not injured. And now that we have Kivior there, bro, I haven't been so nervous in a center back passing the ball in so long when Kivior has been back there, bro. I mean, on even like it's not that he did the worst job, but it's just things that I'm not used to seeing are happening. And that's not going to beat Madrid. I'm sorry. And it's to the point where I think Arteta is going to be so stubborn, as I know he is stubborn. I think he's going to be so stubborn because we don't have Calafiori. He's injured where he should be right now. He should be sitting in that position, but he's not because he's injured. So we only have Kivior. But we had Ben White play this week. And if I'm being completely honest, I would much rather have a center back pairing of Ben White and Saliba and have Timber on the right back side and don't have Saliba move at all, have Ben White sit on the left-hand side and play with Lewis Skelly. I think that would be our best back line. But with Ben White coming back from injury and, Arteta being stubborn, he wants a left back to be left-footed or left center back to be left-footed. I think that's what he'll do. But yeah, no, I personally think that this home draw will tell a lot. And if we're able to start this home draw off on the right foot, if we're able to win 2-0, if we're able to get a clean sheet, like get 2-0, honestly, I think we have a great shot going to the Bernabeu. I'm not gonna do this. I really think we have a good shot going into the Bernabeu. But like I said, it really just depends on what this lineup is, and if I see Kivior, anything is liable. I'm just being completely honest. I don't trust Kivior in our back line. He's not where we want to be in. I think midfield wise we can match up. I don't think top front lines we can match up. I don't think back lines now we can match up. I think in the midfield we can match up pretty okay. But outside of that, you're looking at me. Oh my gosh, yeah. I think my midfield can match up with Madrid's pretty okay, Mike. Yes.
Over my dead body.
I think so. Yes. But we'll see this come Tuesday.
Wait, so who wins the matchup?
Oh, I'm always gonna say we win the matchup. In soccer,
over my dead body, I said.
Come on, Gabriel. Who wins the matchup?
Listen, I'm always gonna say my team is gonna win.
One more time. I have one more.
We're gonna do this.
I need you to say it like Don Robbie. I need you to say it like Don Robbie.
I think Madrid has been shaky, bro. They're not like.
I'm always gonna say my team has a chance. We're gonna win.
Madrid are shaky. They lost against 15th place Valencia.
All these sounds.
They've been, what is it called? They're in this weird kind of. They're chasing Barcelona for every trophy. It feels like right now, and Barcelona plays after them. I don't know, man. I feel like I felt like when I saw the matchup, like this is gonna be one that Arsenal sneaks. They're gonna sneak it. I can see it. I'm putting 1-0.
We have to play a perfect game, and honestly, our lineup has to be correct. And if our lineup isn't correct, I'm going to have a lot of question marks because that means that everything has to go extra perfect. With certain players being in certain positions, I don't feel that things need to be as perfect, and in some certain places need to be on P's and Q's. But if I'm just gonna put it how it is. If Kivior starts in our back line, I'm going to be very, very shook about what we look like defensively. I'm just gonna be honest because yes, he looked dazed today, or not even today. Sorry,
Yesterday.
yesterday against Everton.
He's thinking
So
about
that's Everton. Imagine when you have Mbappe and Vinny and Ibrahim running at you. Then it's a whole different story, bro. With all white kits, I don't want I'm sorry, that's just not the person that I want there. So I think that this lineup needs to for sure change, and I think there needs to be some shock starts. If I mean I can go through my preferred 11 if you want me to go through it, but
go through him.
this is my preferred 11. I want Neto to start and goal. No, I'm joking.
Huh? Oh.
JK. No. My preferred 11, seriously though. My preferred 11 is I want Raya to start. Obviously, I need Lewis Skelly. I don't think Calafiore would be back. So Lewis Skelly. I need Ben White, Saliba, Timber. That's my back three. I need Rice, Odegaard, and I need what's the name? Partey. Yeah, that's my three. Yeah, that's obvious. And my shock start, honestly, if I'm being completely honest, I want a starting lineup or start front three of Nwaneri, Trossard, Saka. That's what I want. Personally, that's what I want.
What happened to Double M?
No. No. I just don't think
Yasser,
this.
Are you hearing this, Yasser?
And I know people might be like, oh my goodness, Martinelli had a good match the other, and no, we need players. I need a fearless winger. I need a fearless winger going up against Madrid. I need someone who wants to take the moment and is going at defenders and at all times. And I don't think Martinelli will provide that in this match. I think, as much as I do love Martinelli, I truly think that Nwaneri is going to help us so much more. If you were to get the start, that would be my starting lineup. But yet again, I'm sure the starting lineup on Tuesday would be vastly different than what I expect. So
you're benching Moreno?
Yeah.
I'm
benching Moreno until the second half. If it's 0-0, or honestly, if we go down 1-0, if it's 0-0 in the 60th minute, I'm bringing on Moreno, and I'm probably moving Trossard to the left, and I'm probably taking Nwaneri off, and I'm putting Moreno center striker. That's probably what.
This is what I'm gonna say about this matchup. I think it comes down to what Arsenal does in that first game. If you guys don't go to Madrid with a lead, yeah, you're not winning this matchup. I think it comes down to what you guys do at the Emirates.
Look, I told Gabriel this in real life too, because Chelsea in our Champions League run, this most recent run that we had in the early 2020s, we saw Madrid twice. Once preferably was in the finals, and then the other was in the late group stages. You have to limit your mistakes, and you have to score, because Madrid will score in the 99th minute, because we know how they love to have 12 minutes of extra time. They'll score 2 in extra time just to make it fun. So you have to limit your mistakes, because this is a team, like you said, you don't have your preferred back line, and you got Mbappe and Vinny running at you guys. So you know what that comes with, and then if that's not enough, there's Jude to back them up. So it's gonna be a tough day in the office. It really is. So you have to limit your mistakes.
100%. I just
have the option.
I just feel like their wing back options right now are weak, and I like my wing back, or I like my wingers right now, and that's where their weakness is. Their wing backs.
Vasquez and whoever.
Yeah, and our weakness right now is obviously our back line and obviously our front line. If I'm being completely honest, too, our front line's not that much of a threat right now. So, we'll definitely see. I think it'll be fun watching Jude and Rice go at it. and I think it would be interesting because I think if there's any time, Martin Odegaard, that we need you in a matchup, this is the time to go tell your old club that they made a mistake, please. So this is the time to show out. But you know, I really I couldn't tell you how excited I am for Tuesday. I'm I'm ecstatic. I've never seen like me sitting down live watching Arsenal Madrid. This is going to be my first time, and I'm 26 years old now, and this is like these are things that we just see on this. I see on FIFA. I've some other simulation. So for me, seeing this live with players that I like follow on a personal level, but also with the pod, obviously, is going to be very, very exciting. So I'm just ecstatic, and I have very, very high hopes. But the first one being at the Emirates, I really do think that we will get a result, and I think that they will score 100%. But I also think that we'll score too. I do think that we'll score, and like Mike said, I think we need to get a result to have a chance to go through. But I think the result is favorable, and I think if we go up by 2 goals, I think I think if we go up by 2 goals, we can low block it in the Bernabeu and get out. Honestly, I truly think it, but that's just
Godspeed, brother.
You gotta take a shot before the game, bro. It's gonna be a wild ride.
oh no,
I
it's
just,
gonna be
It's,
it's
it's
gonna be a fun
it,
one.
it's crazy hearing you say that you've never actually seen, like your team play Madrid live. And it's funny because when you play Madrid, you know that you're in that part of Champions League where everything matters. You know what I mean? Like that means you've gotten to somewhere deep in the tournament. And that's why you feel like that, because you know the pedigree they have, this is their tournament, you know that they have the most, continue to have the most, continue to be in the most semis, continue to be in the most finals. And so it means something playing Madrid. You know what I'm saying? So that's what's up, man. Like I said, Godspeed. I'm rooting for the
Arsenal winning, bro. I swear.
I'm
I
rooting for
see
the
it in
Prem.
the lights.
I'm gonna
I
hold you.
see
I'm
it in
rooting
the
for the Prem.
lights, bro.
It's all
I hate Madrid. I want
it's
Arsenal to win so much.
It's
Like
actually
this
so
is
crazy too, because sorry to cut you off solo, because I got tickets through my job to go to the Guardians home opener on Tuesday as well, and it's at 4:10, and this Arsenal match is at 3. So literally, I'm going to be at the Guardians home opener in the cold with my phone out watching Arsenal. Like I don't care what's
bring a
happening in
battery
this
pack.
game
Bring a
until.
battery pack.
Oh no, trust
Like,
me, solo. We have it all sorted. I am not missing this match, bro. It's not happening. But yeah,
I'm
it'll be
so for it,
interesting.
man. I'm so for it. And I honestly feel like this is like man, because this, to your point about the Arteta thing, this is going to, I think, give the board the no, like how this game is managed, not necessarily winning it, but how he manages it. I think after this point, now you got to decide if you're moving on or staying with this guy. For me, it's just like if you can't even meet this moment, like if you can't meet this moment, not to win it. I'm not saying to win it is going to be deciding his career, but just to like show up in the way that the team should show up. I'm like, I would be paying attention heavily if I was the board.
I agree. I agree.
I agree too. I agree. I'm telling you. I'm sorry. I agree. This match means a lot for a lot of different things. I think to tell where the state of the team is, even with the injuries. That means with players coming back, you should be even on more par with this. This should tell with the state of the manager. Like if you're not able to
Mhm.
get this team ready for this match, there's an issue here. Certain
Mhm.
players individually, if you're not able to meet this expectation, you should know exactly where you're at and what you need to get to be the best at this point. And this will also tell me certain players. I've been raving about you, but how good are you against the best? Because Madrid to me is the best. So if you're not able to perform against them or look like you're up for the match against them, then well maybe come this summer when when this summer is going to be important and a lot of pieces are getting moved. We have a new sporting director. You think about it. There's a new guy in the building. This match says a lot because if you don't perform, you will be out the door. I want to bet that be very known. And I'm speaking for guys like the Martinellis who I said shouldn't start this match. You
yeah,
don't perform, you will be out the door. I
you know,
guarantee it. So
All right. So
Yeah,
that
man.
was that's game one. On the same day, Bayern play Inter Milan. Um, there actually just came out the unfortunate news that Jamal Musiala is going to be missing a few weeks to injury. So looks like he's going to miss both of these, both of the legs in the quarterfinals. So Bayern Inter, who do you guys got? I think
I have changed my tone.
no, they haven't played already, have they?
No,
Have they played already in the? I feel like we saw this matchup not too long ago. Let me look back.
I was gonna say not this year,
I
Maybe
don't
not.
think
but
this year. No,
but
Okay.
I
Nah.
want to go ahead and say Inter's in that mode right now.
I second that.
Inter's in that
Inter's going
mode
through.
right now. I mean, on this podcast a few weeks ago, earlier, I said that I think Bayern was one of the dark horses that nobody was, paying attention to, but they were slowly just doing what they had to do.
Mhm.
I think this Musiala injury is massive, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
And Alfonso Davies is out too.
Yeah, he's out as well.
Oh yeah.
So with those two
All right.
injuries, I gotta lean Inter.
Okay.
Last
I
time
agree.
they played was in 2022, 22, 23
Yeah. Okay.
group stages.
I gotta go with Inter too, man. I feel like it's a no-brainer. Inter seems they're the strongest side right now, amongst those two. So my pick is Inter.
I think for the sake of debate, I'm going to side with Bayern. Obviously, I know Musiala and Alfonso Davies is a big miss, but I think Michael Olise continues to show that he's arguably one of the signings of the season.
Probably the signing of the season.
Could be the signing of the season. I think it'll be slim, but I got Bayern going through. It's not going to be pretty, but I think I got them.
Where's the first leg?
The first, sorry, I just left. At the Allianz, so it's in Munich. So if they can, I mean, this actually sets Inter up very well. They could go in there. We're not going to concede 0-0. We'll see you at the San Siro. So I could definitely see that playing out. Next matchup, we have. Let's go with this one first. PSG versus Aston Villa. I think that it's been a great run. I know that you guys all are fans of the Premier League and teams doing well in these competitions, but I think this fairy tale ends here. I think PSG has been. I said this at the beginning of the season. This is the most complete PSG have looked in the modern era. I know they've had Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe, but from top to bottom, they look like the most balanced team in comparison to these two. They just won Ligue 1 too, so congrats to them.
Mhm.
I just don't see how there's a lot of guys for. I think the most experienced part of Aston Villa's team is Unai Emery. I think everybody else, they haven't been here before. Ollie Watkins hasn't been here before. Marcus Rashford certainly hasn't been here with United this far in the Champions League, and I think the experience of PSG is going to get them through. They have a lot of guys.
Sensio has.
Huh?
Sensio has.
Yeah, he's one person. Yeah, so hopefully, by the grace of God, he can continue, being a bright spot for them. But kind of like how we talked about earlier, like with Arsenal, I think a lot of these teams that we see week to week in the Premier League, I want to see them up against elite European competitions. Ollie Watkins, we consider you one of the best strikers in Europe or in England, certainly. Let me see it. Let me see you. Let me see what you do at the Parc de France. And not just him, but, Morgan Rogers, you've had a phenomenal campaign. Let's see what that looks like. Rashford, you've had a bright spot, in the, as they say, you've looked good in the claret blue for Aston Villa. So, yeah, man, let's see if the vibes are vibing that day. What are your thoughts? Who do you guys have?
Y'all know I
PSG, man. PSG.
lose all season, man.
I think this is where PSG's Cinderella story comes in. They're bums,
Wow.
bro. Where?
I'm so tired of that team, bro. Like, it's just one of those teams that I just be like, man, like, yeah, they win league. But I said that earlier before the game started. I was like, winning league with PSG is half a trophy to me. It means so little. It means nothing really. It's just like, okay, great. It's like checkbox, another thing. Like, so for me, I'm like, whatever. But when I listen, Dembele's had a great season. I'm not even gonna try to, hold him. But like, as a Barca fan, my feelings on Dembele has always been soured, and so I'm just like, well, it's always great when the lights aren't bright. And I think, I don't know, there's something. One of these games is a bogey game. And I know that, and one of these games is going to be an upset. And I think in this one, there's something about it that gives me the upset vibes. But it's just like, I don't know, because haven't they lost like in this type of way where they were so expected to win? I feel like this always happens with them.
Yeah, but this is a different team though, bro. This is a different team, man.
Yeah,
they have the thing about this team. They have the players who have played in many tough games for club and country. Luis Enrique also has won the Champions League before. I think that they just overall experience is, not all in the Champions League. Not the best team always wins. Sometimes it's just about, doing what you got to do to get past.
But here's the thing: they have Aston Villa has Emi Martinez, and one of the things that he's really good at is he's a shot stopper and he's good at with penalties. And my thing is, when I think about PSG, that Liverpool PSG game, there were so many missed chances. And and what was the thing that was pushing them to the end was a good goalie that could just stop really easy kind of run through goals. So I feel like it's going to be a similar thing where if they go to penalties, I don't think they will walk away with it. So there's something about the way that they're set up where they can create loads of chances, but a good goalie is the type of is really the most important player in a game against them right now.
Aston Villa in 2.
Shit. If
I got them.
I got PSG, man. PSG on this one.
Losing them boys.
But honestly, I think both legs are going to be fireworks. I think there's going to be like 10 to 12 goals in between both legs. I think it's going to be fireworks. I think it's going to be insane. But
yeah,
I think it's going to be the funnest matchup to watch out of both legs, or out of both all 4 matchups. But yeah, no, I think Aston Villa comes out on top.
That's fair. I think the matchup that I think will have the highest goals is definitely this next one: Barcelona versus Dortmund. This
is a mismatch.
Wrap it up.
Yeah, man. Both teams.
Let's pack it up.
No, I mean Barcelona has been, like we said last week, we didn't even know if this team was going to be able to register players. So for them to be sitting on top of La Liga and then semifinals of Champions League, you got to give them credit, man. So shout out to them. I have Barcelona going through into.
It's not going to be close.
Yeah,
it's just not going to be. This is a very weak Dortmund team. Yeah, Barcelona's coming for blood.
Yeah.
It might get ugly.
Shout out
trying to do double.
Where's the first match? Where's the first match?
Over 3.5 on this one.
Is that Barca?
And Barca.
Oh,
that's
wrap it up.
Yeah, that's the. If the first game was at the, you know what I'm saying, at BVB, I'd be like, oh, okay, you got. Maybe you can get the fans behind you a little bit, get some momentum.
Fam, it might get ugly 4-5, 4-5-1 at home.
This one has nothing to do with the fans.
Yeah,
Barca win with the over 3.5 is my line.
Mimi on the field. This one is the Mimi on the field.
Mimi, catch me outside. How about that?
Yeah.
Catch me outside.
Hey, that's the thing, though. That's the beauty about Champions League. You think it's gonna be a blowout. You think it's gonna go one way, and it always surprises you. So
we've seen a lot of.
I'm hoping I'm wrong, but based on the way Barca is playing right now, and the way Dortmund is playing right now, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, last year we didn't expect Dortmund to be in the final.
Exactly.
I can't remember who they beat last year, but I mean, obviously
it's a new year.
I think it was PSG. They beat PSG.
They're right. They did beat PSG.
It was that crazy game. PSG had like 4 they hit the post like 4 or 5 times. It was crazy. Yeah.
That's a good point. So yeah, man, that should be good. It's a good first round of games in the Champions League. The season is almost over, guys.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So there's about, I think someone said 7 more games in the Premier League, and obviously we're at the semifinals of the Champions League as well too. So season's rapidly coming to an end, but we still have a lot to look forward to from now to the end of the season. Let's get into shout outs quickly, and then we'll do predictions very quickly. Or should we do predictions? Let's do predictions first. We can go first. Manchester United. This is the biggest game of our season. I could care less about this City game. I could care less about losing to Nottingham Forest. Shout out to Elanga. This is the biggest game of our season. We see a Lyon team who has done well this year in Ligue 1. They have a talented player in Cherki, which I think he's going to pose us problems. But over the course of 2 legs, the first game is away. It's actually at Lyon. So I think that actually serves us very well to go there, defend well like we did today, and then to ultimately take it and to take the tie at Old Trafford. So this first game, I'm going to go with a draw. I'm going to say 1-1. And then I think that we beat them at Old Trafford. I think in spite of all of our problems, we still have enough quality to still beat this team. So.
All right. Chelsea, we see Legia Warsaw. Legia Warsaw.
Where are they from?
Is it Warsaw from?
They're from
You mean that Soldier Boy? Who?
No, that's where is Warsaw? Warsaw is in
Poland.
Oh yeah,
Polish. Okay.
Warsaw. Okay.
Shout out my boy Tommy, man. He's Polish.
They're in 5th place right now in the in their league. Their league.
But anyways, we got to go over there. So this is the competition where everybody thinks we should be lifting the trophy. So I don't think we should make this complicated. Should be a dub for us. But Chelsea Football Club, always got to be dramatic. So you never know. But I'm still going with us. This should be an easy job. We should take care of business. So
Yeah,
I say 2-0. A mild 2-0.
I see 6 points this week, midweek, like Mike said. We travel to Poland. Just take care of business, and then we see Ipswich over the weekend in the league. Just need those 3 points.
Come and donate your 3.
Yeah, please donate.
That's a big game for both of you guys. That's a big game.
We need those 3 more than they do. They're going back home.
They're going down. They're
going back home. They were on vacation for a little bit. It was nice.
Yeah.
Go think about it, and then maybe you can buy the beach house next year. But
yeah, and it's our give back. They beat us. Remember?
Yeah,
I dare them. So
I do.
Yeah.
So we need these 3 for sure.
Shout out to them.
City, you got what do you guys play?
You got Crystal Palace, man. City got Crystal Palace. I think we should win this, but I've been saying that a lot, and then that's not happening. So I'm gonna say like 1. I'm just hoping for 1-0. Just
where's the game? That's your bogey team too.
That's a bogey team, and it's at our home.
It's at home.
So it's a 7:30 start, but that only really matters when you're playing in the middle of the week.
My lock of the week, Marmouche, anytime go.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mike. You guys are coming around. I know you see it.
I hope he's scoring. He's scoring at the Etihad. So far, he scores at the Etihad.
He's consistent with that. But yeah, I think we win. Just simple 1-0, maybe 2-1. Yeah.
Okay.
I got my shout for the season though ready.
We already did. Arsenal. I mean, we did you guys.
No.
Prem.
We played Prem. So yeah, we see Madrid. I didn't say we scored, but we see Madrid Tuesday. Honestly, I'm just gonna go 2-1. I'm gonna go 2-1 simple. They'll score. We'll score.
I didn't see that.
2-1.
You don't even believe that. Look at you. You're just come on.
You really
Your
think it's
eyes were
gonna?
closed the whole time. You're gonna watch this back. Your eyes were closed the whole time. You're gonna do it. 1-0, 2-0. Open your eyes, Gabriel. Come on.
Listen.
What is it?
All right, here we go. 2-1 Arsenal.
Okay.
2-1 at the Emirates. Saka goal. Declan Rice goal. 2-1.
Cornelius, this is the clip.
Second match, Arsenal Brentford. 2-0. Maybe even 3-0 at home.
Is that the
goal.
Emirates?
Yeah. Odegaard goal. Martinelli goal.
Dang, a lot of goals.
That's why I feel like Arsenal's always playing at home. Is it just me?
Yeah,
I
Emirates.
feel like you guys are
You're
always playing
just
at home.
away. We were away yesterday,
Oh, yeah,
Mike.
yeah,
What do
yeah,
you mean?
you are. Sorry.
We're away.
I don't know. It just feels like you guys are always at home.
You guys, man. See when the agenda starts, they start to hear these things and they just scatter across Europe. Hey. But yeah, no, I think it's a 6-point week for us.
Yeah, I mean, we'll be together. We'll be able to watch those games. I didn't even go through. Who do we play on the weekend? We play. Oh yeah, let's just move on.
Nah, go ahead, bro.
We play Newcastle.
Go ahead, bro.
Hey, so
Eastside goal.
I'm gonna need you.
Hey,
Do
bro.
something for me.
No. You don't need us. Listen, you don't need us. You are where you are because of you. You don't need us to do anything.
Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna need you to do this real
As the
quick
young
for
kids
me.
do, what do? They go like this. And then it's just everybody's getting sprayed. Okay,
That's
GRG,
nice,
man.
yeah.
Let's go, man. GRG 3-0. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I forgot to call G. No, playing.
Against Madrid?
No way.
Honestly, if you
I
call
ain't even calling it
GRG,
against Mars. We're playing Ipswich.
if you called a GRG against Madrid and won, I think for the next season, all next season, you get unlimited GRGs. Just that would be
That'd be a hit, bro.
that would be something. How did we do on locks this year?
It was not a super fruitful week. We still have Newcastle, next week. But the Arsenal, unfortunately, did not hit. So that's the -1.
4-0 on the midweek match.
4-0 the midweek. 4-0 the midweek. But my pick yesterday, Arsenal did not hit. Cornelius, your lock was
it hit.
It
Under
did
3.5
hit.
on that Villa game, baby.
Yeah, bro, I should have stuck with my original pick, man.
should have
I was just
stuck
trying
with
to
your
get us
original.
along, man.
Yeah,
God
Mike
damn.
of the city money line did not hit, unfortunately. But we're 1 for 3 right now.
It's the
We're 1
second
for
time.
2. Hopefully, can go 2 for 2 on the week. But that's where we're at.
Trying to pick on United. Look at you,
man. I had Villa money line against.
He
Spurs.
did,
and I was like, you know what? Give me.
Yeah, give me United. He said,
the text thread was actually hilarious. The text thread was
I would have
actually
told you the
hilarious.
under was hitting. I'm surprised Salam didn't pick the under.
Hey, you know what? I probably should have. What was the score? Nobody scored.
Yeah,
Nobody
scored, bro.
No, all right. Shout outs, man. What we got?
I want to shout out Emmanuel Sabi, man. Vancouver Whitecaps got his first goal yesterday. Neighborhood kids, Ohio kid. So shout out to him and Wilfred Nancy, top dog, man. 66%. 75 games is crazy to me. It's crazy, and there's only 2 to have done that: Bob Bradley, Bruce Arenas, both legends in the MLS. So
Good
shout out to him.
Yep. My shout out gotta go to Gotini, Anthony Matios dos Santos. This guy, what do you like? I'm just saying, I think it's been one of the most entertaining January transfer signings to see a guy. I'm all about players getting a chance to redefine themselves and outside of these leagues, at the least if they had a trouble, whatever. Like I said, KDB when he left, he got to redefine himself, come back. I think the thing is he always had that energy, but just United is a soul crushing institution. It just destroys everything about you and your soul and your ability to play as a player. And for him to pull up to here and really get people questioning, like, oh, not that draw against Barcelona. I mean, like literally, you have Madrid fans hoping that Anthony and what's it called? I'm forgetting the other dude, the name that transferred over there. I mean, Cucho, and homie from what's it called? From Madrid, Isco. Yeah, it's just they built a nice little squad, and I'm surprised how well he's fit into it. And I think I wouldn't have guessed this. I literally, I thought he was gonna go off into the ether and just and would have just disappeared into anonymity. But this man pulled up and showed out. So shout out Anthony, Goatany, as I've been calling him.
Yes, people are loving this right now. Look.
So I'm just saying, you know what? You know, he's doing well, but I'll take if you give me 60. You can keep him.
Hey, I'll do a second one.
You guys need to sell these guys, man. It's so funny. It's all fun and game, Betty. Just give us 40. 45, we'll take it. We'll cut our losses. Just give us 45.
I'll take 70.
My shout out this week is my Frenchman Jean-Philippe Matata.
Hey, Matata
came back from his injury, man. It's honestly, I didn't think he'd be back this quickly.
I didn't either.
Happy to see him back. You know, he's wearing the headgear, but played in the midweek match, played about 60 minutes, and then he got a goal in the weekend match in the 2-1 win over Brighton. It's just good to see him back playing, bro. Just was not expecting to see him back this quickly after the massive head injury. So just wanted to give him a shout out.
My shout out is to a youth player, actually. Young Mad Max Dowman. Hat trick and an assist against Leicester City. I believe it was yesterday, maybe today. Just a great kid, honestly. Just a great youth player.
Nice.
Really excited to see his progression and growth as a player over the years to come. But just goes to show, man. They had 5 goals and it was 5-3 at the end of the match, but 4 goal involvements. I mean, that's massive. And he's only 15, so looking forward to, just seeing more from him. But shout out Mad Max. And I coined that nickname. So.
Mad Max.
Mad Max. That's my name.
That's good. Cornelius. Oh yeah, you already did yours. I got 2. So the first one I'm gonna do is Vinicius Jr. In his 200th appearance for Real Madrid, he's tied the Brazilian Ronaldo for most goals scored by a Brazilian in club's history. Which, I mean, that's for him to do that this quick in his career. I mean, he scored a bunch of goals for them, a bunch of decisive goals too. So definitely one of the legends, I would say, in the modern era. I think when we look down the road in about 7 to 8 years, I think we're going to look at him as one of the prominent areas of this, one of the prominent players of this era, and definitely Real Madrid have a long history of legends, but I think he could definitely make a case for himself as like being on that list. Maybe not at the top of that list because they've had a lot of exceptional players, but definitely on that list for sure. So shout out to him. And the second one, actually, this one is close to home. I wanted to shout out Charlie Syria. So Charlie Syria is a youth player that I helped coach at the previous club that I was at. She actually just got selected to the U17 women's national team, and she's going to be representing the United States.
That's amazing.
In the CONCACAF Nations League. So she was all over their social media. It was really cool to see her. I'll tell you guys a funny story, actually. So she was on the first team. Every age group has 3 teams. She was on the first team. I had the second team. And shout out to Chris Black, He was the one coaching the first team. Him and I had a scrimmage, and so mind you, she's at the center circle. Whistle blows. I turn around, and to my 6 players, I just give them their subs. This is who you're taking. This is who you're taking. By the time I got done talking to the 6th player, and I turned around and I looked onto the field, I heard everybody get loud. She's in our 18-yard box. She's in 1-on-1. Bang, 1-0. And this is probably, no exaggeration, this is probably 6-7 seconds into the game. And I looked over at Chris, and Chris looked at me and was like, "Buckle up, buddy. She's good." So yeah, man, shout out to her, man. A really proud moment for her.
That's
What she's
dope.
doing over at Ohio Elite. So definitely would love to have you on at some point. She actually just committed to Notre Dame too, not too long ago. So
Congrats.
go Irish, man. Shout out to Charlie.
I'll go check her out one of these days. Notre Dame isn't too far, so
She's a dog, man. She's a
That's
dog.
dope.
But nah, good episode, guys. Solo, I appreciate you coming on, bro. Always a good time. I know that we went 2.5. Even for us, that's a lot.
Keep your link.
Oh, geez.
We'll break it up.
We'll break it up. Cornelius, we have our work cut out for us.
Yeah.
Definitely, but appreciate everybody for tuning in. Always appreciate your guys' continued support. And as always, good luck to you in your future endeavors.